the difference between a strong character and a broken character. A strong character is going to be a character that can do good for its role. Well, not even that. Yeah. Do you mean like, I guess what I want to know here is, do you mean in the game, or do you mean like a character that's like good at like role playing sorts, right? Because if you want your character to be a great dancer, for example, then you want to make sure that you do your best to raise your charisma as the modifier, right? The score and the modifier as high as you can, so that you can have a good performance, maybe even get proficiency on it. Instead of picking one of these other ones, if you have the option to do proficiency, do that one, and all of a sudden now you can do that. If you're talking about what the role is, that's one thing you want to consider about is my character set to do what's needed? Then that might determine it, right? So if I go back here to Bard, it says party role, and this is a good general line of what your class for your character is, okay? And we'll talk about the broken here in a second, right? But we're talking about strong character first. So Bard is supposed to be crowd control. That means when there's a lot of enemies, you might have a spell that affects all the enemies and supports. But you could also make a Bard that's a little bit more on the damage side, or maybe more on the healing side, right? But generally, this is where it's gonna kind of fall under, okay? So if you make a Bard with great charisma, they got the great side with those, they got some good health, and you're able to help your party in the role that they're kind of more designed for, like a barbarian is more to do damage and tank, then that is a good, strong character. A broken character would be one that you like literally optimize as much as you can, and you get magic items to help you do those things even better. So going back to the Bard, say that you get some magic item and all of a sudden this boosts up. This would be ridiculous. I don't think there's anything out there. Let me know if there is a magic item like this. But say that this bumps your score up to like 26, for example, like, or even 20, like we'll go 30, just super ridiculous. Okay. So at +5 is 20. Okay. This is at 20. At 22 is a 6. At 24 is a 7. At 26 is a 8. At 28 is 9, and then 30 we're talking about +10. That means charisma is the best stat for a bard, which just know this is probably I'm not sure if this is even possible in the game, but just kind of give an example. You optimize your character so much to a point that their best trait is, you know, almost godly in the game. Now you have a broken character, I would say. But is it okay to play broken characters? I would say yes, go ahead, because that's the way that you're going to have fun. Just make sure that you're sharing the table with everyone else, giving everyone else their turn, right? It's okay that you're super good at one thing and then somebody else will be good at other things, right? That's the point of the game, is where no class is going to be good at everything, and you will be broken in your own way. Maybe like you decide you want to be a cleric and be the most broken healer ever, but does that make you a good character as well? Yes, if that's what you're going for, you know. Thank you for expanding here. So you wrote, so when I was playing a while ago, I had a friend with a rogue paladin hybrid that could one-shot tough enemies, and my other friend who had straight ranger, who struggled with combat. Okay. So one thing you want to consider, the friend that played the multi-class, right? The rogue and paladin, maybe they have more experience, and then the one with the ranger might have been less experienced. That's one thing you want to ask first, right? But typically somebody who has been playing for longer, they will find these skills that gel well. And that's why a lot of people do multi-class, because all of a sudden multi-classing, you're able to find one skill that one class has. So take example for the bard, maybe bardic inspiration, for example, and you decide, I want to gel with, we're going to go classes, probably another spellcaster. We'll just go cleric for a second. And you know that bardic inspiration, divine, a domain works really well together. And all of a sudden now you're able to build these interesting abilities that you didn't have before, because you took one level in bard, then one level in cleric. And this is an example. I don't think bardic inspiration and divine domain does something crazy for your character really, but there are combinations if you pick the right subclass for certain things that you might get something that's broken, but it's also part of the game, right? And having a broken character can probably be like you're that person to always save the game, right? And now we're really talking about like role playing. So at the end of the day, I say go for the type of character that you want to play. It can be a really crappy character. Like we could have made a bard today that was, maybe we've got bad rolls today. Maybe had a -1, -1, -1, but maybe his charisma was like a -2. You know what I mean? We could have made a really bad bard today, and that's okay. If you feel like you can play it and you feel like you can definitely enjoy it, go ahead. You're still going to be good at your role, right? The bard is designed for this type of play, right? Where you're affecting multiple enemies and you're supporting your party members. Even you having bad stats, you're going to be better than other characters at certain things you do. So yeah, it's a little bit more of like decisions, right? It kind of comes into role playing. It also affects the table, the group, right? You don't want anybody mad at you because you're amazing at something that they're not, right? But as you get more experience, you will find these little things that might make your character better than the other person's character, right? You might be a barbarian and all of a sudden find this thing that makes you better at support than the bard. And then you're like, your bard friend might be really mad because you're playing a support barbarian, which is kind of rare, but it should be there. Should bards try to seduce the dragon? That's the real question. Should. Quick answer, yes. Okay. To answer the question seriously, should bards try to seduce the dragon? No, because probably unless it's like a gold dragon, right? I think it's the gold dragon because they like to take human forms a lot. If I remember in my dragon lore. Other than that, they're probably not interested in you. They probably think you're super ugly. You're fugly, bro. You're hella fugly. You know what I mean? JK.